Hi everyone, this is the lab locating log files. Okay, the objectives in this lab you will get familiar with locating and manipulating Linux log files. In the part 1 log file overview, in the part 2 locating log files in unknown systems, and part 3 monitoring log files in real time. Require resource, security workstation, virtual machine. This is my virtual machine. Instructions. Part 1 Log file overview. Log files, also spelled log files, are files used by computers to log events, software programs, background process, service, or transitions between services, including the operating system itself. May generate such events. Log files are dependent on the application that generates them. It is up to the application developer to conform to log file convention. Software documentation should include information on its log files. Step 1 Web server log file example. Because log files are essentially a way to track specific events, the types of information stored varies depending of the application of servers generating the events. Uh, Consider the single log entry below. It was generated by Apache, a popular web server. Okay. Core plus ID. Okay. The end file does not exist. Bar. Okay. The single log entry above represents a web event recorded by Apache. A few pieces of information are important in web transactions, including client IP address, time and details of the transaction, and the entry above can be broken down into five main parts. Okay, timestamp. This part records when the event took place. It is very important that the server clock is correctly synchronized as it allows for accurately cross-referencing and tracing back events. And the type, this is the type of event. In this case, it was an error. Okay. Uh, Process ID. This contains information about the process ID set by Apache at the moment. In the client, you record the IP address of the requesting client and description. This contains a description of the event. Based on the log entry above, describe what happened. Okay, and timestamp, type, process ID, client, and description. And comment on timestamp. This is the timestamp. Okay, Wednesday, March 22. This is the clock, and this is the years. And process ID is this process ID. Type, sorry, this is the type, core error. Client, this is the client. And description, file does not exist. Okay, based on the log entry above, describe what happened. Is a serial where the process when the machine when the service run. Okay, Wednesday, March 22. Okay, a claim with IP address and request non-access file. The file should have been located in the following path, but because it could not be found, it triggered an error. Okay, okay. Analysts, SecOps, cat bar log, logstash, tutorial.log. Is the output above still considered a web transaction? Explain why the output of the cat command is in a different format than the single entry shown in item A. Okay. Is the output above still considered a web transaction? Explain why the output of the cat command is in a different format than the single entry shown in the item A. This is item A, and what is the difference between this command? Okay, this is IP address. This is the date. Get presentation law HTTP. Okay, okay. This is the date. Get presentation law HTTP. Semi-complete presentation against Mosi address. Okay. Show answer yes. It is a web event. The fields are in a different order, but the get message the presence of clean IP address, reference to various web browsers, and the HTTP v1 confirms this is a web server log file. The format is different because the service was configured to record different fields in a different order. Okay. In the step 2 operating system log file example. Any software can keep log files, including the operating system itself. Conventionally, Linux uses the var log directory to store various log files, including operating system logs. Modern operating systems are complex pieces of software and therefore use several different files to log events. This section takes a quick look at the var logs message files. Item A. Stored under var log, the message file stores various system events, the connection of new USB drive, a network card becoming available, and too many missed root login attempts are a few examples of event logins to the var log message file. Use the more command to display the content of the var log message file. Unlike the cat command, more allows for a basic navigation through the file, presented to advance line by line, or space to advance an entry page. Press Q or Ctrl C to abort and exit more. Note: the sudo command is required because the message file belongs to the root user. Okay, go to the terminal, view for submit, and play the sudo more slash var log and message. Okay, and password. And no such file or directory. Okay, so is var. More cannot open var long as no such file or directory. So sudo more var log analyst. Okay, go to ls, see, ls. Okay, go to bar, backup sketching, crash live, local log, and message. What is a message? Alternative logs, apt, autoload, bootstrap, okay, engines, kernel, privatures, noise, message, analyst, secops logs. Okay, go to show in the order switch user and go to cybersecurity analyst. Open the terminal and enter this center. And now cannot open by log message files. Okay, ls and cd debug. Sorry. And view submit and cd log. Now it's in bar. Yes, log. Okay. Open engines. Short. Okay. In my log, I don't have the message. Okay. Okay. This is the date. Secops kernel. Random. Okay. Notice that the events listed above are very different from the web server events because the operating system itself is generating this log. All recorder events are in relation to the OS itself. If necessary, enter Ctrl+C to exit out of the previous command. Log files are very important for troubleshooting. Assume that a user of that specific system reported that a network operation was slow around 4:20 a.m. and may. Okay. Can you find evidence of that in the log entry shown above? If so, in what lines explain? Can you find evidence of that in the log entry shown above? Uh, on my so the network card was flapping, switching from up to down quickly. The log entries clearly confirm the user report. Part 2, locating log files in unknown system. The security workstation VM includes engines, a lightweight web server. This section will show how to find and display Nginx log using the security workstation VM. Note: Nginx was installed on the CyberOps workstation VM with its default settings. With default setting, its global configuration file is located under etc nginx.conf. Its access log file is at barlog nginx access.log, and errors are directly to the terminal window. However, it's common for a security analyst to work on computers in which the installation details for tool and service are unknown. This section describes the process of locating such files described for Nginx, but is by no means complete. Nevertheless, it should be a good exercise about location and displaying log files on a familiar system. Okay. When working with new software, the first step is to look at the documentation. It provides important information about the software, including information about its log files. Use the man command to display the Nginx manual page. Okay, and go to logout and okay, close and open new terminal with the man and Nginx. Nginx BSD System Manual. Name: Nginx HTTP and Reserved Proxy Server, Mail Proxy Server. Description: Nginx, pronounced Nginx, is an HTTP and reserved proxy server, a mail proxy server, and a generic TCP/UDP proxy server. It is known for its high performance, stability, rich feature set, simple configuration, and low resource consumption. The options are as follows: signals, debugging log, environment, files, exit status, examples, see also history authors, BSD. Okay, scroll down the page to locate the Nginx login sections. The documentation makes it clear that Nginx superlogin, with the location of its log files, define a compilation time. Okay, go to find login. Signals, description, syncnosis, okay, environment files, okay. The Nginx environment variable is used internally by Nginx and shall not be set directly by the user. Contains the process ID of Nginx. The content of this file are not sensitive, so it can be worked readable. The main configuration file, error log file. Okay. And the boot log. To enable a debug log, reconfigure an Nginx to boot with dev, configure with debug, and then set the debug level of the error log. The manual page also contains information of the files used by Nginx. Scroll down further to display the Nginx operating file under the File section. The outputs above help you to conclude the Nginx supports logging and that it can save to log files. The output also hints at the existence of a configuration file for Nginx. Before looking for Nginx file, use the ps and the grep command to ensure Nginx is running in the virtual machine. Now, to use man to learn more about ps and grep commands. Okay, go to ps command and grep. Okay. The output above confirms that Nginx is running. In addition, the output also displays the parameters used when Nginx was started. Nginx process ID is being stored in run Nginx process ID, and error messages are being redirected to the terminal. Note: if Nginx is not running, enter the sudo us rsbin Nginx and the prompt to start the server running using the default configuration. Note that you need to restore Nginx. You can kill the service by using the sudo pkill Nginx command. To start Nginx with the custom configuration from a previous lab, run the following command: sudo nginx customservers.conf and test the server by opening a web browser and going to URL. Okay. If you wish to start Nginx with the default configuration, you can start it with the command OK and open a web browser and go to OK because the location to the log files was not specified. The global Nginx configuration file should be checked for the location of the log files. Item A. By design, the server exportation VM utilizes the file location and definition as much as possible. Conventionally, the var log directory holds various log files for various applications and services, while configuration files are stored under the etc directory. While the Nginx manual page did not provide an exact location for its log files, it not only confirmed that Nginx superlogin but also entered at the location of a configuration file. Because the log file location can often be customized in configuration file. A logical next step is to use the ls command to look under etc and look for Nginx configuration file. Okay. Notice the Nginx folder under etc in the output above. Using ls again, we find a number of files including one named nginx.config. With this command and use the cat command to list the content of etc nginx nginx.config. You can also use more or less to view the file and nano or scita to edit it. These looks make it easy to navigate through long text file. Only the output of cat is displayed below. Okay, cat etc nginx and okay. Note: lines that start with hash our comments are not ignored by Nginx. Okay. A quick look at the configuration file reveals that it's an Nginx configuration files because there is no direct mention to the location of Nginx log files. It is very likely that Nginx is using the file values for it, following the convention of storing log files under var log. Use the ls command to list its content. The var log. As shown above, the var log directory has a subdirectory named nginx. Use the ls command again to list the content of var log nginx. Because the var log nginx belongs to the HTTP user, you must execute ls as root by preceding it with the sudo command. There are very likely to be log files in use by Nginx. Move on the next section to monitor these files and get confirmation that they are in the Nginx log file. Now your output may be different. The .gc log files above were generated by a log rotation service. Linux systems often implement a service to rotate logs, ensuring that individual log files do not become too large. The log rotate service takes the Leicester log file, compresses it, and saves it under a different name. Access log 1, access log 2, GSC, and new empty main log files is then created and used to store the latest log entries. In the part 3, monitoring log files in real time. As seen in the previous section, log files can be displayed with many text presentation tools. While CAT, Morless, and Nano can be used to work with log files, they are not suitable for log files real-time monitoring. Developers design various tools to allow for log files real-time monitoring. Some tools are text-based while others have a graphical interface. This lab focuses on Tail, a simple but efficient tool available in practically every Unix-based system. Step 1. Using the tail command. The tail command displays the end of the text file by default. Tail will display the last 10 lines of the text line. Now, if you don't see any log entries, navigate to this IP address in a web browser and refresh the page a few times. Use the tail command to display the end of the var log nginx access log. Sudo tail. Okay. Go to sudo tail and slash var slash log slash nginx slash syslog. And now, if you don't see any log entries, navigate to in a web browser and refresh the page a few times. Okay, go and entry. And go, okay. Go to open the okay, continue with the log. Okay, now review don't see any entries. Okay. Use the end option to specify how many lines from end of a file tail should display. Okay, you can use the tail command with the F option to monitor nginx access log in the real time, short for follow ftail type to continuously display the end of given text file. In a terminal window, issue tail with the F option. As before, tail displays the last 10 lines of the file. However, notice the tail does not exit after displaying the lines. The command prompt is not visible, indicating the tails it is still running. Now, your var log access log file may be empty due to log rotation. Continue following the log. An empty var log access file will not impact the log. With tail is still running on the terminal window, click the web browser. Okay, as before, tail displays the last 10 lines of the file. However, notice the tails does not exit after displaying the lines. The command prompt is not visible, indicating the tails is still running. Now, your var log access the log file may be empty due to log rotation. Continuous following the log as an empty bar logs access the log file will not impact the log. With Tail still running on the terminal window, click the web browser icon on the dock to open a web browser window. Resize the web browser window in a way to it allows you see the button of the terminal window that Tail is still running. Note: in the screenshot below, the Enter key was present a few times in the terminal window routing Tails. This is for visualization only as Tail does not process any input while running with F. The extra empty lines make it easy to detect new entries as they are displayed at the bottom of the terminal window. In the web browser address bar enter and press enter. This is the address of the VM itself, which tells the browser to connect to a web server running on the local computer. A new entry should be recorded in the barlog engines access.log file. Refresh the web page to see new entries added to the log. Because Tail is still running, it should display the new entry at the bottom of the terminal window. Aside from the timestamp, your entry should look like the one above. Note: Firefox store page in cache for future use. If a page is already in cache, force Firefox to ignore the cache and place web request reload the page by pressing. Because the log files is being updated by Nginx, we can state with certainty the bar log access log. In this fact, the log files is used by Nginx. Entry Ctrl+C to end the tail monitoring section. Bonus tool. The Security Workstation VM is based on Arch Linux, categorized as Linux distribution. Arch Linux is designed to lightweight, minimalist, and simple. As part of this design philosophy, Arch Linux uses system as its init system. In Linux, the init process is the first process loaded when the computer boots. Init is directly or indirectly the parent of all processes running on the system. It is started by the kernel at boot time and continues to run until the computer shuts down. Typically, init has the process one ID. An init system is a set of rules and conventions governing the way the user space in a given Linux system is created and made available to the user. Init system also specific system web parameters such as global configuration files, login structure, and service management. System is a modern init system designed to unify Linux configuration and service behavior across all Linux distributions and has been increasingly adopted by major Linux distributions. Arch Linux relays on system for init functionality. The CyberOps Workstation VM also uses system. System Journal or simply Journals is system events logging service and users have an only binary file service as its log files. Notice that Journal does not impede the use of other logging systems such as syslog and rsyslog. The section provides a brief overview of journals. A journal's utility uses for log view and real-time monitoring. This section provides a brief overview of journal. A journal utility uses for log view and real-time monitoring. In a terminal window in the CyberOps Workstation issue, the journal command with no option to display a journal log entries. It can be required long. Okay. Hey, you are currently not seeing messages from all the users and the system. Users in groups and system journal can see all messages. Press Q to run all these notices. Okay. The output begins with a line similar to the one below, marking the timestamp where the system starts to load. Notice that the timestamp will vary from system to system. Journal includes a number of functionalities such as page scrolling, color codes, message, and more. Use the keyboard up, down, or mouse key to scroll up, down the output on line after a line. Use the left, right keyboard and mouse key to scroll sideways and display your log entries expand beyond to boundaries of the terminal window. The key displays the next line while the spacebar displays the next page in the output. Press Q key to exit journal.ctl. Notice the hint message provided by journal.ctl. This message reminds you that because analyst is regular user and not member of either the system journal or will groups, note that log entries will be displayed by journal.ctl. It also states that running journal.ctl with the Q option suppresses the hint message. How can you run journal and see all log entries with the superuser do? Running journal as a root users will display all entries to run journal.ctl as root, prepend the sudo command to journal.ctl sudo journal.ctl. Journal.ctl includes option to help in filtering the outputs. Use the B option to display both related log entries. Sudo journal.ctl b. Log begin and Friday. Okay. To see entries related to the last boot, add the one of the command above. To see entries related to the two last boots, add the two option. Sudo journal.ctl b2 and use the list boot option to list previous boots. Use the signs to specify the time range of which log entries shall be displayed. The two commands below display all log entries generated in the last 2 hours and in the last day, respectively. Okay, 1 day ago. Journal.ctl also allows for displaying log entries related to a specific service with the U option. The command below displays log entries related to engines. And note that a part of system servers are described as units. Most service installation packages create units and enable using during the installation process. As per okay. Similar to Tail, Journal also supports real-time monitoring. Use the F option to instruct Journal CTS to follow a specific log. Press Ctrl C to exit. Sudo Journal CTL F and Journal CTL also support mixing option to archive the desired filter set. The command below monitor engine system events in real time. Keep the command above running, open a new web browser window and type this address, the file configuration in this port, customserver.config in the address bar. Journals TS should display an error related to a missing favicon.ico file in real time. Use Ctrl C to quit journals TL. Reflection: log files are extremely important for troubleshooting. Log file location follow convention but ultimately it is a choice of the developer. More often than not, log file information, location, file names, etc. is included in the documentation. In the documentation does not provide useful information. On log files and combination of web research in system investigation should be used. Logs should always be synchronized to ensure all systems have the correct time. If clocks are not correctly set, it is very difficult to trace back events. It is important to understand when a specific event took place. In addition to that, events from the reference source are often analyzed at the same time. Okay, this is the lab location log files.